Breaking news right here tonight at 5 o'clock. In fact, we have two major breaking stories to tell you about. Life without parole for killer Bryce Rhodes in Louisville. That's life in prison for each of the three murders he committed. The sentencing coming late this afternoon. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Shay McAllister. We also are going to have more on that in just a minute. But first, we want to tell you about a big mess that took place on I-64 this afternoon, turning into a major traffic headache all across eastern Jefferson County. Take a look. This is the crash that started the whole thing. A semi holding gasoline crashed and overturned on I-64. Police had to close all lanes right here as the tanker began leaking about 4,000 gallons of gasoline. At one point, the leak got so serious a nearby neighborhood was evacuated. First responders going door to door to about 30 homes, telling people to grab their pets and get out.
The spinoff was amazing. At about 2 o'clock this afternoon, take a look at this, folks. I stood alongside Shelbyville Road and recorded this video. That's bumper to bumper traffic right outside Oxmoor Center. It was jammed, moving, but very slowly. Frustrated drivers were scrambling to find any escape routes. Long lines of traffic cutting through any subdivision like this one they could find all day long. I-64 eastbound traffic has been forced off onto Cannons Lane to the east and westbound Watterson in the opposite direction, while they cleaned up the 4,000 gallons of gasoline that spilled onto the roadway.
Quite a mess across the board. Well, at one point, a real safety concern for that nearby subdivision. Again, the homes were evacuated just for a short time as a precaution.
That happened in St. Regis Park, which actually sits right next to the interstate in the Watterson. WHAS11's Connor Steffen and photojournalist Aspen Hester have been talking to residents. Connor, give us the latest now. How are the residents doing and what do they think about that evacuation?
Well, Doug, I'll tell you what I think, what they think. This is, you're talking about during one of the busiest shopping days of the Christmas week and one of the busiest areas to go shopping. Could not have come at a worse time for not just these homeowners, but again, that bumper to bumper traffic like you were talking about. Now, for context, we are currently we're just off 264 in a St. Regis Park neighborhood, like you said, that faces the highway. It's where officials told 20 to 30 homeowners to evacuate immediately. They've since been given the all clear to return back home. Now, this all started this morning around 8:20 when a semi-truck carrying gasoline overturned on I-64 in the eastbound lanes near the Watterson overpass. At this time, MetroSafe says it expects to have 64 shut down through rush hour. It again is advising people to avoid the area. We've spoken with several homeowners here this afternoon. You're about to hear from one who believes he heard the moment the tanker truck overturned and another describing what that evacuation process looked like.
But I saw something go up in the air, and I don't know if it was liquid. It wasn't smoke because it didn't keep smoking.
It was bumper to bumper, and I'll tell you why, is there were cars coming down this direction, over on the other side, and everybody here pulling out, multiple of cars.
As for what's next in the cleanup process, crews are still emptying out the tanker. They then have to turn it right side up. MetroSafe says crews may also need to flush nearby storm drains. A cleaning contractor is now on site evaluating if crews will have to take those steps. But it's safe to say this is not the outcome shoppers were looking for. Again, we're talking about just days before Christmas, trying to access these two malls here in East Louisville. We'll continue to cover this story as it evolves, but for now, we're live in Louisville. Connor Steffen, WHAS 11 on your side.
Okay, Connor, as you point out, a big environmental mess as well. Now, take a look right here. We want to bring you a live look at the Shelbyville Road Plaza. This is just down toward the mall, St. Matthews. Traffic being forced again off Cannons Lane, and people are looking for anywhere to cut through. Our night team photojournalist Elijah McKenzie alongside Shelbyville Road at the moment. One of the busiest areas of Shelbyville Road, which is bottlenecked on a normal day, now showing heavy traffic around the mall, St. Matthews. Typically so busy for the holiday shopping. Things are moving, but a lot of frustration out there tonight.
As to count 3, murder, Larry Ordway, we, the jury, do find beyond a reasonable doubt that an aggravating circumstance exists in this case and fix the defendant's punishment for the murder of Larry Ordway at life without the possibility of parole.
That's the final word on killer Bryce Rhodes coming in late this afternoon. He will spend the rest of his life in prison with no chance of parole.
The jury asked for the sentences to be served one after another for the death of Christopher Jones and teenage brothers Maurice Gordon and Larry Ordway. WHAS11's Alexis Jones and photojournalist Emma Gefter were there today as witnesses took the stand asking for compassion in this case. They join us now live.
Alexis, did you speak to loved ones, and how do they feel about the verdict, which came really down the sentencing decision late this afternoon?
Well, Doug, I did speak to them. Family members have mixed reactions to the jury's recommendation. The teen's mother is pleased with the outcome, while Christopher Jones's child's mother was overwhelmed with rage.
It wasn't nothing wrong with him when he picked up that gun and shot my child's father. It wasn't nothing wrong with him when he hurt them boys. Wasn't nothing wrong with him. Yes, nothing. Yes, ma'am. It wasn't nothing but a bunch of foolery. So they could say, you can say whatever you want. You can talk about whatever you want, but the fact of the matter is, he should have been put to death.
I just want to say that it's been 7 long years, and I've been waiting for this day that Maurice Gordon and Larry Ordway and Christopher Jones got justice today. Thank you.
Both women were in the courtroom when the verdict was read. The jury recommended a sentence to life without parole for each of the 3 murder charges. Each sentence will run consecutively. This means Rhodes will spend his last days in prison unless the defense wins an appeal. Jurors had the option to consider Rhodes' mental state when choosing his sentence. According to psychologists brought in by the defense, Rhodes is intellectually disabled. Past experts also diagnosed Rhodes with ADHD and bipolar disorder, but say he wasn't given the right tools or education to cope. There was still hope for Rhodes, but ultimately the jury listened to prosecutors and considered the victims, Larry Ordway, Maurice Gordon, and Christopher Jones. Now the judge does have the final say. She plans to give her decision on March 13th. In Louisville, Alexis Jones, WHAS11 on your side.
Alexis, thank you. There are 3 other co-defendants in this case who have already pleaded guilty of the murders. Tyron Coleman, Ja'Cory Lamont Taylor, and Anwan Carter were all teenagers when they were indicted. 18-year-old Ja'Cory Taylor was charged in October 2016. He took a plea deal in 2018 and was sentenced to 10 years to serve. More local news for you tonight. Today, crews battled a house fire in the Merriweather neighborhood. That's not far from downtown. Firefighters tell us they got the call at 11 a.m. to a 2-story home in the 1500 block of South Hancock Street. That's a few blocks away from Preston Park. Louisville fire crews say it took them 30 minutes to gain control of the blaze with the help of 35 Louisville firefighters. People were inside the home and were able to get out. Nobody was hurt. The Louisville Fire Department's arson squad is now taking over the investigation.
Now to some sad news out of the Northeast. A deadly helicopter crash in New Jersey killed a news photographer and a pilot on Tuesday evening. It happened right around 8 o'clock as the news team was heading back from a story on the Jersey shore. The New Jersey State Police were able to locate the crash site on the ground. It was hard to access due to its location in the woods. The National Transportation Safety Board got to that crash site around 3 in the morning. They have now taken over the investigation.
Here in Kentuckiana, we are midweek of Christmas week, and once again we're fine-tuning that forecast. We see a little clouds moving in today. It's stayed pretty chilly today, Shay, but you could at least feel a bit of a warm-up starting.
The sun certainly helped because the morning, Colleen, started out so cold today.
It was really cold, but I knew around 1 o'clock it was going to get warm. I took my dog to the park. He really enjoyed it. It was nice and comfortable out there, but hey, if you thought it was too cold today, we have even warmer temperatures in store for your Christmas weekend ahead. Right now, we're seeing a few clouds out there over the sunset, so it is blocking out the horizon, but it's still nice and comfortable, just hovering above 50 at 51 here in downtown, 48 in Bowmanfield, 49 in Bardstown. So it's not going to be as cold tonight. In fact, we're going to be hovering just above freezing here in the metro, but I think it's possible to get below freezing, say Bardstown or areas in our outskirt communities tonight. So upper 20s, low to mid 30s, you're waking up to tomorrow morning. And we're going to stay dry. In fact, the first official day of winter begins tomorrow night at 10:27 p.m. So 53 degrees, not going to feel like winter, and plan for above freezing temperatures here throughout the weekend. We'll be in the 40s in the morning, and this is your temperature trend for the next 7 days. 56 for your high on Saturday. We're jumping up to 61 for Christmas Eve. So it is going to be a rather warmer setup, but we also have some rain coming with those warmer temperatures. Really part of the reason why we're warming up. That south wind bringing in some of that moisture, unstable air. So we'll start to see some scattered sprinkles throughout the day on Saturday and Sunday, but the big rain holds off until Christmas Day. We're tracking this low pressure system that will form just over the southern plains and head our way throughout the afternoon. I'll have the latest forecast model timing it out for your Christmas weekend coming up.
Thank you, Colleen. Louisville certainly known for the Kentucky Derby, bourbon, and the Louisville Slugger, but it is also gaining a reputation for an unfortunate smell.
Well, in response, the Air Pollution Control District is adding a new option to monitor the chemical released from the sewers. Right now, there are 5 air monitors across the city operated by local scientists and engineers. Ariane Hardwitt visited the one on Dutchman's Lane today, right by Bowman Field, to understand what's being tracked right now and what comes next.
If you're ever wondering what's that smell or what's that weird hazy cloud in the sky, then the Air Pollution Control District can tell you what it is. They use air monitoring sites like this one to see what's in the air and how much. It all starts up top. The air's pumped in through tubes.
The tube will go down into an instrument, and depending on which pollutant that is, it's quantified by a different spectral signature.
That means the air's read by lasers below inside these blue machines. Air monitor supervisor Tom Law.
We write everything down twice.
Let me take a look inside. The tube from outdoors brings air into a black box.
And it's going into this sampling chamber.
Then a special laser shoots through the air like a grocery scanner, giving chemical level averages every minute.
Our pollutant that has troubled us the most has been Canadian wildfire intrusion, which is mostly particulate matter that impacts us here in Louisville, and it's not something we're used to seeing.
Even after the haze dissipated from those wildfires this summer, air monitors were still identifying small, dangerous particles. It's data they track every hour of every day that's made publicly available online.
I know what's in the air. I take my kids out in it all the time. And, you know, lifelong Louisville resident, and I'm glad to serve the people.
Service will expand when they begin testing for hydrogen sulfide. That's the smell everyone's been talking about. It's the chemical that escapes the sewers when we haven't had a lot of rain. The APCD already has the equipment for that, but it needs to be tested first before it can be used. They expect it to be complete within the next couple of months. For now, I'm Ian Hardwitt in Louisville, WHAS 11 on your side.
Well, if you're curious about the air quality in your neighborhood, check out the Air Pollution Control District's live air monitoring. It's available 24/7. We've got a link on our website, WHAS11.com.
And we got late word today that after serving as the interim leader for several months, the Louisville Urban League has picked Lyndon Pryor as the civil rights organization's brand new full-time president and CEO. Lyndon Pryor has been with the Urban League since 2015. It took over as interim CEO in March of this year after former CEO Kish Kumi-Price was fired. In a statement released today, Pryor says he's excited to move forward as the permanent CEO and is confident that the league will continue to build on the positive work that it has already completed in Louisville. The league is set to hold an official introduction for him next month. Before arriving in Louisville, he worked in student development at Texas A&M University.